So I am doing this review after I did my review of Ice Cream Man, and yes, I did change my shirts because I felt like it fits. So Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender was directed by Lauren Montgomery, and it's about Aang, who was the Avatar, and his friends Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko, who they discover a new threat that could potentially change the Republic City, and this is a brand new movie. It's set in the Avatar universe. I'm trying to be as vague as I can with this movie because there's a lot about this movie. So I was very excited for this movie for a lot of reasons. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Avatar The Last Airbender. If you saw my review of the first season of the live action show a few years back, you know I really enjoyed that show. I think the animation is gorgeous, the themes, the voice acting, everything about that show I absolutely love. It's probably one of my favorite shows out there, and I go back to that show every once in a while. Honestly, I should just rewatch the show and do a review of the series because I love it that much. But one of these days I will. And I was very excited for this movie when it was announced, and I was very mad about this movie's release for a lot of reasons. First, they said it was going to be in theaters, but then it got moved to Paramount Plus, which automatically I hated. And then obviously the leak that happened made me even more mad. I did not watch the movie when it leaked. I actually waited until whenever this movie was going to be released, and it was finally released with like a week's notice. And honestly, this movie is solid, but it's not amazing. There are parts of this movie that I really, really like. But there are parts of this movie that I felt like were not terrible by any means. Like, I'd rather watch this again over something like, say, the live action show or the live action movie. We don't talk about the live action movie. There's no live action movie in Ba Sing Se. But this movie is fine. Like, there's a lot of really good things about it. First off, the animation in this movie is just absolutely gorgeous. Every shot of this movie, I think, is beautiful. And it's just, we don't get a lot of 2D hand drawn movies these days, and we do get this with this movie at least. And I felt like every frame in this movie was just absolutely perfect. Like, it was just a beautiful movie to look at. The voice acting itself is decent too, although it's not as strong as the voice acting on the TV show, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I love seeing all these characters again. I felt like, for the most part, the characters were at least in line with their counterparts from the TV show. Aang felt like Aang. Like, he felt like he was still kind of like, he was naive, but he was still strong, and he had like all this guilt, and I felt like that was really cool. Katara, Sokka, Toph, Zuko, they all had elements of their characters back where it's like, okay, that was really cool to see them being these characters and feel like they have actually learned from their TV show and such. I felt like the tone was also very interesting where it's like it still felt like the TV show in a way where it's like, yeah, a lot of stuff that's happening is very serious, but they still have some levity to it. Like, there's still some comedic moments here and there. And I felt like it actually understood the TV show better than some of the other adaptations of Avatar. And also, I do like a lot of the ideas that are talked about in this movie, like a lot of the issues that Aang's going through, which at first it kind of seemed like a retread about how he was the last airbender and how he's dealing with that. But as you see, like, throughout this movie, it's like, okay, that's kind of changing a little bit at least. So I thought it was actually really cool, like, how they addressed a lot of things in this movie. It's like, it's also kind of interesting to see like how the tables have kind of turned in this movie in a weird way, which if you have seen the movie, you'll understand. Also, this may be a guilty pleasure, or I may be a little bit biased, but I love seeing all the random Easter eggs from the TV show in this movie. Normally, I hate the Easter eggs. I feel like Easter eggs can only work if it's like you're really obsessed with something. Like when I watched Avengers Endgame for the first time, and a lot of the Easter eggs worked in that movie. In this movie, I feel like a lot of the Easter eggs were really fun to see. It's like kind of like a movie where it's like I'm gonna go back to. It's like, oh, there's one I missed. Oh, there's one I missed, and I really still enjoyed it. But let's talk about some things I don't like, because most of my issues with this movie are kind of just nitpicks. Now, there is a new character in this movie voiced by Dave Bautista. And at first, when I saw who his character actually was, I was like very fascinated. But when you kind of get like more of his character, you kind of realize what his character is going to be. And I felt like it was just disappointing for this movie to kind of have this character be this character. It was just kind of lackluster, if I'm being honest, for a TV show that it was like the first TV show that I felt like subverted expectations for me, because like it debuted when I was like 11, and it still holds a special place in me, in my heart. It's like, okay, I feel like this movie could have at least subverted things a little bit more. And also, I feel like the movie has a bit of a slow pace to it. I feel like it was mainly in the middle where it kind of slowed down a little bit. And also, this is mostly just a nitpick for me. I kind of wish that some of the voice actors returned. Like, I can understand some people are no longer involved with the brand and such, and then kind of going on to do other things in their lives, but You're telling me that they couldn't get Dante Bosco, Mae Whitman, Jack DeSena to reprise their roles? I felt like it was just unfortunate that they couldn't come back. And while the voice actors themselves are fine, there's like I felt like the voice actors on the TV show were better, and they were actually perfect compared to what we have now in this movie. And there were definitely times where I was watching this movie and I'm thinking, I can definitely see why this movie would go on a streaming service and not be in a movie theater. Other than the animation, which again, absolutely gorgeous. Like, that's the main reason to watch this movie. Everything else about this movie feels fine. Like, it's good enough. I feel like I'm being a little too harsh on it, but like, I feel like this movie, well, not bad by any means. I feel like this movie should be better, and I feel like it should have been stronger. And I feel upset because like of everything that kind of happened to this movie, and the movie itself is just okay in my opinion. And again, like I said, maybe I will go back to it, and maybe my opinion on it will change a little bit. But for right now, I feel like the movie is okay. Like there's nothing awful, but I'm not mind blown. So Avatar: Aang, The Last Airbender, it has gorgeous animation, absolutely stellar animation. I love seeing these characters again and what they've done since then. I love the tone. I think the ideas that they talk about are very fascinating. I do think the Easter eggs, they work for the movie for me personally. But I don't like the fact that they don't use certain actors from the TV show in this movie. I felt like the new character that they introduced was just not that interesting. And also, it does have a slow pace every once in a while. I felt like this movie should have been stronger, and it just wasn't. I will likely go back to this movie again, though, because maybe my thoughts have changed on it, or maybe my thoughts will change on it. I feel like of all the stuff we've gotten after the TV show, like the movie, the live action show, and this is probably the one that I will digest easily another time. So for right now, I'm probably going to get crucified for this. I will give it 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. Again, I feel like I'm being a little too harsh on it, but I want to like this movie more than I actually do. And I was very excited for this movie, and I'm just upset over everything that kind of happened with this movie, particularly when it was trying to get released and such. So if you watch this movie illegally, shame on you. So, what is your favorite moment from Avatar, whether it's a series or Korra, whatever you think? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.